So I joined this course around like March, but I'd been struggling with trying to shift my mentality to it. But it actually kind of shifted maybe this last weekend. So I'm kind of all on board now. So I'm trying to be deliberate about my time and trying to get more into these sessions and putting more time towards, the coursework itself. A little bit of what I've struggled about for the course is, I guess, over engineering some things and then overthinking a lot of the process. It could
Yeah.
be pretty simple, but I tend to think a bit further and like other possibilities. Like for example, on week two, we were creating that basic, cloud architecture. All you needed was the diagram and some of the components, and then kind of like map out what you wanted to do there. But for me, to be able to focus on doing the work, I need to tie it into other things that are kind of related to my work as well. So, for example, for that project, I tied it into a on-prem server to a cloud server.
Okay.
So, in that case, I kind of built out that structure, and then I was like, okay, so if I want to show scalability to recruiters or people that I'm interviewing with, right, I kind of want to show that the project that I worked on shows that scalability. So I kind of like scaled that further up. And I feel like this is kind of going out of scope of what the project kind of shows, but um, I kind of wanted to do that. So I scaled it all the way to like what, 20 to 30,000 users.
Yeah.
And then I got so deep in the weeds. I'm like, okay, so now I over engineered this. Now I have to go back to like just getting the basic architecture down. So that's kind of where I'm at on some of these projects.
Okay. Um, Key thing about that is you should allow your curiosity to kind of drive you, which is what you're doing. Like, don't put yourself in a box of, okay, this is what I want you to do based on the lesson. If you find that you're working on a project and you want to take it a step further or 5 steps further, that's totally fine. And you know what? That's really good, right? Because in a role, when you're actually in the workplace, you have to be able to think a few steps ahead as well. Okay, so what happens if this system grows over the next 3 years? What if our database grows? What if our systems grow? What if things fail, right? We need to have those questions in our mind when we're designing any sort of system, right? What happens in 3 to 4 years? How long can we store the data for? Is there some sort of compliance that we have to meet? Is there regulation? For example, in the UK, we have to meet the GDPR standards, right? So like all this extra stuff that you have to like think about. And the good thing about the academy in week 0 is when we talk about first principles, it's like all basically first principles, all about just asking the questions. Like keep asking the questions until you really understand what it comes down to. Right. So like feel free whenever you're working through anything, any project, any lesson, just let your mind wander and ask yourself questions. Like think about the interviewer and say, okay, if I show this to an interviewer or a hiring manager, what would they ask me? Right. And I used to do this when I was in the workplace. I would go to meetings knowing I had something prepared. And I would, before the meeting, I would think about the person that I'm going to be presenting to. What questions is he gonna have for me based on what I'm presenting? So loads of times I would be sat there answering like my presentation, talking about it, and I would know what he's about to ask me, and I would say it, and he would be like, okay, I was about to ask you that. I was about to ask you, like, I already have that in mind because I'm already thinking. If I put myself in the other person's shoes, where are the holes, right? Where would they nitpick my solution or my project? Right? It's obviously difficult to do that when you're just getting started. Just like putting yourself in that place and making your mind think about it over time, you'll be able to do that better and better. Real quick, if you know that you've been jumping between certifications, tutorials, and career paths without actually committing to anything, I want to give you something completely for free. My team and I have built a school community where we've put together training videos and resources that will help you get the clarity that you're looking for when it comes to cloud engineering. It's completely free, link in the description below, and once you're in there, you will also see a full in-depth breakdown of my Cloud Engineer Academy and how the program is structured. And if you watch the breakdown and you are like, yes, this is for me, then you can just book a call with my team directly.